Hey, welcome back to Neighborhood Network News. In Boston's hot real estate market, funding for any affordable housing is harder to find. Over the past several years, the city has lost hundreds of subsidized units, and the housing needs are especially acute for people trying to make their way out of homelessness. To tell us about a proposal for solving part of the problem are a formerly homeless person and member of the Boston Homeless Solidarity Committee, Aubri Esters, and the Executive Director of the Mass Alliance of HUD Tenants, Michael Kane. Thank you both very much for being with us.
Thank you, Chris.
Aubri, I want to start with your experience. You were homeless before. Now you have a place, a subsidized apartment.
Yes.
What's the difference in your life?
Well, one difference is that I was able to I was able to let go of a lot of my anxiety over where I was staying at night. I was able to move on with my life, try to work to go towards getting a job, become a productive member of society again. And a big part of it is stability for me. Now that I have a guaranteed place to live, as long as I pay my rent, that I feel safe. I don't have to worry every night about getting kicked out or someone finding me. And I feel safe, I feel comfortable, and I feel welcome in the city again.
Well, for many homeless people, getting on the path to self-sufficiency means that you want to take care of your health needs, maybe you want to get a job or even get a little education or something. And how much difference does housing itself play?
I think it plays a huge role because without having a place to stay every night, you're in survival mode. You're thinking about where your next meal is coming from, how you're getting to your doctor's appointment, where you're going to go after that, how you're going to get back to the shelter in time before they close or the line ends. Make sure you don't lose your bed. So I mean, these are all issues that you have to worry about as someone who's living on the street or is homeless, and those issues just disappear when you have access to affordable housing. I was able to find a part-time job. I'm thinking about possibly going back to school, continuing my education, and these are all options I wouldn't have been able to even think about 5 or 6 months ago.
Michael, you're trying to make this happen for more people. So, how would this work in your proposal?
Well, the proposal is for the city of Boston to create a subsidy program, a rental subsidy program, similar to the federal Section 8 program and the state mass rental voucher MRVP programs. The crisis is so severe, and there's so many people that are homeless or near homeless in our city that we think the city needs to step up and help out. The city of Washington, D.C. funds 3,248 rental vouchers for low-income people. Some of them are tied to new buildings, so that's mixed-income housing. Some are mobile vouchers. If they can do it, why can't we?
What's the stumbling block here? Is it that maybe, is it the category of people you're trying to help, or is it the sense that, well, maybe, this is not all from within the city, people come here because there's no infrastructure for services anywhere else?
Well, the proposal that we've made, like the one in Washington, would be limited to people from Boston who are homeless, people that are homeless in Boston, priced out because of the market. At the meeting of the Homeless Solidarity Committee last Sunday, there were 3 new people who are workers. They have jobs, but they are homeless and living on the street or in shelters because they simply cannot, you cannot find a rental apartment on a minimum wage. It's impossible. So there are a lot of homeless people, 25% are workers in the state, or actually have jobs, that if they only had housing first could stabilize their lives like Aubri has.
Aubri, we use the term homeless as if that's what you're like all the time, but you're in the Solidarity Committee, you see all kinds of different people, so I guess we're talking about people who have the potential to be different too.
That's right. I've met folks in the Homeless Solidarity Committee and in my in my experiences that had college degrees, some of them even had master's degrees, that were experiencing homelessness. Folks that were struggling with serious mental health issues, that weren't able to get services because of the situation, not having housing and not having stability in order to set those services up. So getting housing first is really has been shown to be a solution to solving this crisis.
Michael, talking about solutions, the bigger picture here is how much we're doing in the city overall for affordable housing needs. What do you see?
Well, the issue is, you asked what's the barrier. The barrier is a question of priorities. What are the mayor's priorities? There's a $3 billion budget, $3 billion budget for the city of Boston. We've gotten support now from 9 city councilors led by Councilor Zakim, the chair of the Housing Committee, and Councilor Wu, have wrote the mayor and said, we want $5 million out of the $3 billion budget set aside for this idea. That would be enough to provide homes, permanent homes, for 350 people, get them off the street so they can stabilize their lives. It's a drop in the bucket. There's no question they can find that if it's a priority for the mayor. It just hasn't yet become a priority for the mayor. We need to persuade him to do that. The Community Preservation Act will probably be on the ballot, is going to be on the ballot and will probably pass in the fall. That would be another stream of money that could fund, that could expand a voucher program like they've done in Washington. So it's a way to directly address the problem. And there's some other, it saves money too. The school system right now, there are 4,000 children in the Boston school system who are homeless. A lot of them are in motels up in places like Saugus, and the school department has to spend millions of dollars a year to provide transportation so they can go to school in the city. Wouldn't it be better if they had a rent voucher that they could find an apartment in the city? So the proposal that we've made would pay a rent level from the vouchers sufficient to clear the rent in Boston, which is high, and would be limited to people who are from Boston and they could only use it in Boston. So it's very much a Boston proposal that the council has made and that we support.
Robert, you were giving testimony before the council about this in City Hall. What was that like for you?
I was a little nervous. I'll admit. I mean, I was in front of a whole bunch of folks that had that seemed to have a lot of power and authority over what happens in the city. But it was really important to me, and it was something that matters to me personally and to a lot of folks I know. And a lot of friends of mine are still experiencing homelessness and living on the street and in shelters and in doorways. So making sure that their voices were heard, even though they weren't there, is something that I thought mattered. As well as to include my history and my experiences, I thought was important too.
Thank you both very much, Aubri Esters and Michael Kane.